Who's that going up with speed? Gillis in there's with Beal. Gillis, the shot right on net. What a save by Liam. On the boards, only one there is Owen Shudiak. Shudiak, the pressure from Beal, up to LeBlanc. LeBlanc at the blue line, the shot right off the post. That one, Captain Campbell regathering in the corner. Tried to move that one over D to D for Ty Warner. Shoved out the blue line. LeBlanc, the stop. Betts right out in front. What a move. How did that one knock? Face off is one and sent back to the Moncton high end. Owen Murphy, grade 9. Drops it off. It's intercepted. The shot right there. Saved by there with Webb. There's a Victor. The shot right there from Bro is a stop. LeBlanc, another try deflected. They score. Face-off goes to Wishart's left. Off the icing. Face-off won by Moncton High. Murray the shot towards the net. There's Wishart hitting against the boards against Avery, I should say. Here's Ty Warner breaking in. Ty Warner on his backhand. He's leveled from behind by Leger. Trojans potential 2-on-1 coming back. McFadden walking in. There's the shot. Gloved down by Elias Sock. That one, Anderson got a bit of a cross-checking battle with McEachern. Back for Ty Warner along the boards. Sees Daigle on open ice. Daigle walks in with a shot, and that one turned away here. Dropping it off in the corner. There's Bro. Reverses Dion. It's turned over. Beal behind the net. Nolan pass out in front. There's the shot. What a save by the turn. Gets by LeBlanc. Up there for Clark. Clark stepping in on Harris with 2 on the Clark. The shot. They score. Going through the zone. Kervin somehow still with possession. Works with speed. Kervin cuts wide. Walking in. The shot on Wishart, and that one goes right off the draw. Daigle trying to force it to the net. LeBlanc steering him aside. Daigle trying to go to the blue line. Ty Warner. The shot. It's deflected by Kervin out in front. Poked off there by Ty Warner. McEachern also given a stick check there by Daigle. And there's a one-timer right there to Nealis. On the backhand, touched up by Betts. And it's a hook, and this might go against Ty Warner. What a stretch pass, 3-on-1 from Moncton Highland by Harris, and he's swept aside there by Leger. Harris out in front, trying to look there. Brandon Warner score! Shot banging it there was Groundwater. McEachern up the boards. Leger across. Preston steps in, winds up and fires. Pad save by Sock as the rebound goes to level by Drew Betts. Might have a chance. Betts walking in, could be all alone. Back to the forehand, save the rebound. They score! Stride and 2 pucks sliding right through the blue paint. Preston at the blue line across. Steves lets one go. Save from Sock and a poke to Gillis. That's Harris rather with McFadden. Daigle moves into the pile. As well as another. There's Manners with a back with it. His pass redirected by Kervin. Stepping in, Brandon Warner. He's leveled by Preston. 14-35, there's a quick shot, didn't make it through. Ty Warner, his pass intercepted. Another try is gloved down. Looking to find a stick. Groundwater trying to go to the line. Intercepted. Gillis, his pass was fanned on. Back for Groundwater. The middle, McEachern, the one-timer. Harris, his attempt to clear. Locked in. Preston walks in. Save by Sock, and the rebound still loose. We'll have an early whistle in the building tonight. Here's Daigle being shoved right against the Purple Knights bench. Dion will shove that one in, and the game's starting to get rough here. We're going to have a purple turn over to Leger, taken by Harris. Moves it up to Daigle. Daigle with speed, trying to get past a couple. Daigle still with the puck, and open ice the shot. Wishart with the save. Cage waiting up through the middle. Groundwater now in a foot race with Harris. Groundwater walking in. There's a shot. He's taken down, and Groundwater finds his way behind, then cuts back towards the blue line. Betts steps in the face-off circle. There's the shot, the save from Sock, and the rebound's out loose. They still jam away at it. Down, Betts out in front in the high slot. No one there. McFadden, the turnaround shot. He scores. There's Daigle working in on Leger. Leger working in, trips up Daigle, so we're going to have a Moncton High power play now. On his backhand, the shot scores! Webb, the backhander, stopped by Preston in the line. There's a quick shot off the pad, the rebounds, and right back into the crease. And Parker LeBlanc, Webb finding it, his flip along the boards, caught in by Preston. Preston skates in, and there's a shot, and Sock is there to make the save, and it looks like we have a penalty left to go in the period. Trojans now on the power play to the line. Steves plays it down. Betts on the left side, put to the net. They jam at it right next to Sock. It's Carson LeBlanc. Ty Warner sending him into the boards. Taken up by Nealis. There's the shot back for Nealis. The backhander, they score. Ty Warner bringing it in, moving it across. Gillis, the shot just above the net. It redirects off of Wishart, and somehow Preston shooting this one far side. Martin, one touch to the middle. Here's McFadden getting past the ball. McFadden into the net. There's the shot, the save from Elias. Harris has Curvin and Gillis with him in the zone. Harris walking in on Steves, cutting in and taken down, and Harris slams down Steves in the stops. Cuts by Dion to the middle. Sagadia, what a move, the shot. There's a save and his own rebound. Murphy across for Harris. Harris stepping into the zone. He's going to let one go on Wishart, where there's a save. Sent to the middle. Preston along for Hinckley. The first goal for Harris. Triple going to put one on net, and that one gloved down with ease. Harris goes along the near boards, gets around groundwater, and McEachran that was held, so we're going to have a penalty. Murray, the shot, he scores! Center. Jackson Steves leads the rush for the Trojans. He steps in, there's the shot, glove down by Saw. And that's Brandon Warner on the Moncton High bench, really liking the physicality from Murphy. Here's Harris cutting in, the shot on Wishart, and he makes the save. What a move to get in, and he was double teamed. The rebound, there's Shudiak, and he scores. Bit of dangles as now goes to the net. There's a quick save, the rebound from Webb, and his backhander is also saved by Alim Sagadiev, working his way in. Keeps cutting on the left, there's the shot on Sock, and he will deny it. Cuts around, waits and shoots, and Sock again is there to make the save. Trojans still find possession. It's Clark throwing it across. Whalen steps in with a shot. Another save. Sagadiev working his way in. Behind the net, throwing that one out in front. Shudiak turns and fires and scores. Hopping to the middle. Manderson trying to move that one out in front. That one in between the legs of Preston. Curvin holding possession out in the middle. The shot saved by Wishart. And welcome everyone to the final regular season game here on Moncton High Sports. And it'll be our grad game as we are about to honor our grads here, as we will soon take it away to Greg Mellon in the timekeeper's box, and he will introduce all our 2026 grads. Stay tuned for when we honor our 9 grads here on Moncton High Sports.
Congratulations, Elias. Next, in his first use of the night, we have number 9, Ethan Anderson. Congratulations, Ethan. Missing tonight is our two-way player, number 21, Joey Goulet. Congratulations, Joey Goulet. See you back on the ice really soon. Next up, we have number 4, defenseman, Brendan Murray. Congratulations, Brennan. And now we have number 6, our forward, Brendan Warner. Congratulations, Brandon. And now we move on to our assistant captains. Starts with number 3, defenseman Tyler. Congratulations, Tyler. Now we recognize forward and assistant captain, number 15, Braden Daigle. Congratulations, Braden. Next, assistant captain number 16, forward Ethan Kirby. Ladies and gentlemen, today is also a very special day. It is National Flag of Canada Day. And in honor of Nick and the red and white Maple Leaf flag being flown for the first time 61 years ago today, we now ask that if you could please rise, move your caps and hats, direct your attention to the flag right over there, and join us for our national anthem.
And we welcome you in just moments before puck drop here from the K Arena on a Sunday night, not a school night. These guys all got tomorrow off. So hopefully they got some energy here tonight. They take on a hot team, the St. Max Saints. Haven't played as many games, but man, are they a hot team to beat. 9 graduates on the team. Just announced and honored here at the K Arena. Elias Sock, the grade 12, gets the go and goal. And a bit of delays as we get to the face-off. And here we go. We got all graduates in the face-off circle. Tyler Warner going in as a forward. And here we go with puck drop. There's a hard hit quickly into this one. Into the zone. It's played. Here's Warner going to the net. Ty Warner moving it across for Harris. Harris does a little sidestep as he tries to get towards the goal. Ty Warner again looking after. This one's jammed along the boards as the Maxim streaking back the other way. Walking in, ringette line pass in the middle, they score! Jacob Lefrancois gets this one started off hot. Just 31 seconds into the game. And the Saints already looking to spoil grad night. They had an hour and a half drive and they are clearly energized. Quickly shot in by Manderson. Along the net, this one goes over. It's now found in the corner, covered up by Sock for a whistle. Make it Lefrancois from Burns at 19-29. In the corner, battling there is Levine. Levine in a tie-up in there as well as Rector. going behind the net. Rector trying to turn and spin. He's hit along the boards there by Brandon Warner. Here's Webb in the corner. Again, Rector all up in his business in the corner. Ty Warner going around the net, intercepted by Levine. Levine looks at the goal line. In the corner, gets shoved off by Ty Warner. Spins and gets the puck back as it goes into the corner. Here's Levine hitting the brakes, dropping off. Maneuvering around is Campbell. Alex Campbell's hit. In behind is Levine again. Rector waits in the high slot, going behind the net. Campbell pressures Daigle, or that's Brandon Warner, excuse me, as they both get into a shoving match, and that's going to be a penalty against one of the two. And there's a big hit. I believe this one is going against the Max. It looks. Alex Campbell looks to be headed to the box. So we look to be having a Moncton High power play, and just hard to tell what's happening here. They're both getting up in the face. Brandon Warner, a little cross check up high. They may have missed that. So face off, going down into the opposite end. It's regathered, it's spun and shot around the boards. So Knights on the power play. Just under 2 minutes to go. Flipped in here by Kirkpatrick. Or excuse me, that was Raid. Knights try to bring it up. Ty Warner, that pass intercepted. Brought back for Harris. Harris shoves that one against the boards. Back for Harris in his own end. Harris with pressure. Turning around, getting around Raid and sending it across for Dangle. Dangle waits and sends that one up to Warner, who's absolutely destroyed into the boards. And Ty Warner, not a guy you usually see get bodied like that, but loses balance here right in front of the opposing team's bench. Never a situation you want to be. There's a puck in the air. Whacking at it there was Gillis, as it's cleared back to the opposite end. Move back right in front of the net of Sauk. Here's Harris, regathering in the corner. Harris cuts past Martin. Looking up the zone. It's now caught in the corner, as Gillis will shuffle this one down in the corner for Kervin. Kervin looking out in front. That one didn't go, so the Max now get this one out of the zone. Could be potential break. Walking in, here's Harris on defense. There's a shot save made by Sauk, and the rebound is sent wide. Close chance puck on the side of the net, and they whistle this one down. So a 1-0 game here on Moncton High Sports. 24 seconds still left to go in the Alex Campbell cross-checking penalty. Warner looking over the bench. They realize they need one more, and wearing number 13 for Moncton High, who's now stepping into the draw, is Damien McNaughton, who plays for the U16 Moncton Thunderbirds. Quick shot from the blue line that goes over the net. This one gone back for Warner. Ty Warner in his own end. Looking, then he rams that one off the boards from Anderson. Anderson couldn't get that one out. It's shot back. Sauk, who handles that one. It's now 5-on-5, so make it even here in this one. Max trying to find it at center. It's regathered back by defenseman Alexander. Evan Alexander will shoot this one and send it out of play. Max in the corner, they shoot this one out. Murray regathering, sends this one across. Tried to get that for Gillis, who entered the zone. Didn't go very far. Dangle going for a change. A bit of a mix-up right next to the Moncton High bench, as Simon is right there. Knights enter the zone. Into this one, there's a quick shot towards the net. Now rimmed around in the corner. Hit applied there, as it was Burns. Back the other way, Lefrancois working in, dancing in, and saved by Sauk. But a penalty up and coming. And Jaden Paquin in net for the Saints, hasn't been too busy so far. So a power play opportunity now for the Saints as the Knights have taken a penalty. Rector bumps that one back. There's a shot that goes over the net. Looking across is Wills. Wills looking up top. There's the shot from the blue line that's turned away by Sauk. Regathered by Brandon Warner, and he'll send that one the length of the ice. Regathered behind the net there by Paquin. And shoveled across by Simon. They work their way up the ice with speed. Harris moving into the corner with Raid. Gives him a shove. Now sent around for Rector. Levine turning, dropping for Raid in the corner. Raid up top. Rector waits, delays, stops and goes back to the blue line. A little bumper back from Simon, back to Simon. Simon, Rector, they play a game of catchers. Rector with a shot off the pad of Sauk. Gets taken by Harris on the rebound, and down the ice it'll go. That one to be picked up by Paquin behind his net. He'll drop it off. Here's it Simon that goes to recover. Simon escapes from his net. Sends an outlet pass up as they get to center. Moving in, Lefrancois along the left side. Lefrancois behind the net. Sent across for Simon. Or excuse me, that's Gary that goes up at the boards. He gets knocked down. Rooney waits. Backhand, back up to Rooney. Lefrancois left side waits. Goes across. What a pass, the shot. Great pad save by Sauk. Elias Sauk clutch so far as the Saints have it behind the net. Curling into the corner is Campbell. He was out of the box from earlier. Lefrancois waits now for Campbell. Campbell stumbles to a knee, gets taken down. There's Warner that will flip it up into the netting. Face-off taken by Moncton High. Ty Warner will launch this one down the ice. Here's Paquin out of his net, stopping at the red line. Here's some pressure down from Anderson as he's able to force a pass. Penalty now expired, so make it 5-on-5 momentarily. As the Knights come back up the other way, there was Beal unable to get to that one. Paquin stops and holds off for Rooney. Rooney going up the wall. Now potential 2-on-1 for the Saints, back the other way, waiting, delaying, backdoor pass, and that one's off the side of the net. Beautifully played, just not finished. Lefrancois tucking this one in, he scores! And Lefrancois will get another point here, make that his second of the game. They get 2-0 Saints as he waits behind the net, then wraps it around, and this one slides into the net. An unfortunate start for the Knights as here's Rooney going behind the net. He'll backhand that one across as it's gathered up on the wing. Found at center. Working his way in, trying a little dangle was Barry, and he was sent in the corner. Veridou to the line, shot in by Kirkpatrick. Murphy trying to get to that one, it's in the corner. McPhee looking to the middle, there was a quick shot. Martin that had gone up to the line. Redirected, McPhee poking at it, still loose. McPhee at it again, somehow able to keep this one in. McPhee tried to go to the middle, intercepted by Murphy. Body do right in the middle. They poke at it. It's loose out in the slot, and it's poked in between a pair of feet. And there's McNaughton to send this one along the boards. It'll be found down by Kirkpatrick. Whipped in by Anthony McPhee in the corner. Harris pushed from behind. Warner, the little outlet pass for Daigle. Daigle cutting to the middle. Across McNaughton. McNaughton into the zone. Dean McNaughton lets one go. Saved by Paquin. As this one's rotated around the corner. Wells working up the left side. Still into the zone. Around the boards, Murray will regather in the corner. Murray, he's hit along the boards. This one's taken by Levine. Levine trying to cut to the net. And Ty Warner, the only one waiting in the slot, so he brings us out for Moncton High. Little pass up for Daigle. Daigle will clear this one in. It comes to rest behind the net. They fight for it in the corner. Curvin looking, trying to put it in between his legs. It's brought out by the Saints on the right side. Working up there, Campbell. Alex Campbell through the legs of Murray, and he absolutely reverses them. With the physicality already ramping up here at the K. Murray, the backhander, try to get that to Ty Warner. He lets that one go up the wall. Shot in by Rector. Rector to Murray. Along, try to get that for Gillis. Taken back by the Saints at the goal line. They rush in. Around left Francois. That's Levine, up to the line. There's a quick shot off the pad of Sock. That's a close one. There's Webb sending his man down and giving Levine another punch. And that one is going to get called. Well, Julian Webb just getting a bit too physical with Brady Levine. And you may be able to see it. It was on the right side of your screen just there. Just outside of frame. And that's going to be 4 minutes for head contact. That is now huge for the Saints to try to add even more insurance. As LeBlanc was able to flip it out there. Here's Harris going behind his net, curling right in the slot. Will make no mistake to get that one down the opposite end of the ice. Paquin going out to play it. That's regathered by the Saints defense as they bring this one out off the right side. They still struggle to bring it out as here's Harris cutting to the net, puts it right next to the pad of Paquin. Here the Saints come 3-on-2, walking in. There's a shot, gloved down by Sock. Another clutch save from Elias Sock, waiting right there with the trapper to deny his man. As the Knights have already found themselves down by a score of 2-0, and they're on a major, or double minor, I should say, penalty kill right now. There was a shot from the line of Rector that just missed. They bump it back in the wall. Curvin will find the open puck and send this one down to the opposite end. Paquin going out to play it. He'll launch this one along the boards. It's regathered by Rector. Will be forced just to the line, and they will be able to get this one out to center. There's almost a huge hit on Daigle as now he's shoved off. Saints back at their own blue line. There's a stretch pass intended for Rector. This one will miss and be icing against the Saints. Face off to Paquin's left. Still a lot of time left on the penalty. There was a quick shot from Harris that was denied by Paquin. They find it in the corner. Battling down there. That looks to be Curvin that tries to throw that one out in front. It's regathered by Simon. Simon waits, going up the wall. Now sent to the middle. Clearing this one in is Simon, who had still had possession. Beal looking for it. Gonna get in a collision there with Raid as they both go down. Penalty coming up to Moncton High. Rector waiting, firing, scores! Braden Rector makes no mistake, sending that one to the top shelf. So we'll see how this stacks up. There was a double minor. There was a delayed penalty. The goal was scored before the double minor had expired, so this might be a 5-on-3 for 2 minutes. That was an absolutely beautiful snipe. We'll see, this will be a 5-on-3 for 2 minutes. Well, 5-on-3 now for 2 minutes. The Saints now go up 3-0. It has not been a great start from Moncton High. Another shot where Shock gets a hold of that one. There's a hit in the corner. Campbell waits, looks, he goes down. Going across, one-timer, they score. That latest penalty was Damien McNunn for boarding. And it's Maddox Burns that give the Saints another. So Campbell going down low to Gary, across for Burns, and they make no mistake. So make that last one Kirkpatrick from Simon, and then LeFrancois from Burns. Those are the latest two, and make it Burns from Gary and Campbell here in this one. So the Knights already find themselves down in a hole. LeBlanc trying to go up the wall. There's pressure there from Kerman as it gets shot out past Rooney. Will end up all the way down near Paquin. There's a little pass up to the blue line. The Saints work their way up, breakaway to the backhand, and then he curls back around. That was a great rush from Kirkpatrick. He slows up last minute. Here's Campbell around the boards, trying to go up to the blue line. This one intercepted. Here's Harris going up the right side. Harris works his way in, cuts wide, tries to move it back to the middle. That one's stripped and taken away. Just 43 seconds left to go on the St. Max power play. Rushing in, here's Rooney with a nice toe drag. Rooney, the shot, scores! So Ben Rooney, another unreal goal from the Saints. And
we would also like to take this opportunity to thank two people who have put in countless hours to stream and cover our games for the last 3 years.
and timeout, I believe. Greg Mellon shutting us out.
Please give a huge round of applause to Ethan Nelson and Greg Mellon and the Maritime Stream team. Both young men graduated this year and will be missed by the Purple Line Soccer program. Thank you, guys.
And we'd like to thank Greg Mellon and the Moncton High team giving us a quick shout out. As the puck gets dropped here, it's 5-0 game. And the special teams really been the story. The St. Max are 3 for 3 and make it Rylan Hebert now in goal for Moncton High. As there's McNaughton going for pressure. There's a quick shot that'll just miss the goal of Hebert. Walking in there, there's a big hit from Warner. But it's Berrio that's able to stand up. Behind the net, linesman in the way, or referee, excuse me, almost got bodied by Avery. Heads up. Behind the net, Berrio into the slot, couldn't quite get to it. There's Warner. Berrio, and along the boards. Martin trying to shovel that one to the middle, into the opposite side. McNaughton lifting a stick. There's Alexander that'll dump it back. Ty Warner behind the cage. Waits, tries to throw this one. This one will skip past one. Delayed icing, but here goes Paquin to play it, and he'll shovel that one successfully up against the wall before it's redirected in the middle. Alexander walking the red line will shoot this one almost right into the Moncton High bench. And these players got to keep their head on a swivel. Just under 6.5 to go. Moncton High School, they found themselves in a hole early. See if they're able to dig themselves out of this one. There's Simon that lists this one to be cause for a whistle. The face-off will go outside to be taken by Maltus. And it's won by the Saints. They make a quick move right back into the blue line, chopped back out. This one still flutters around at the line before it's cleared back in by Maltus. Harris in retreat, sends this one off the wall, out of the reach of Murphy. It's cleared back in, behind the net of a bear. Harris around the cage. They work their way around the corner. Here's Beal getting shoved by Campbell. This one squirts free, ring out line. There's a shot, denied by the blocker of a bear. Murphy gloving this one down, and here's Manderson working his way. Gonna get a shot off. There it is. The save from Paquette. The rebound. Another great save. Two amazing saves from Paquette. Still loose out in front. And still getting a great view of the opposite end before the Saints come back. Here's Daigle around the net. This one almost hits Harris trying to change. I believe that would have been too many men. As Lefrancois brings it back in for the St. Max. He shoots and scores. And how about a hat trick in the first period? Caden Lefrancois, who came busting in along the right wing, made a pretty nasty cut to the middle and no mistake to finish. So the Max now give themselves a 6-0 lead. A lot of insurance on that one. As moving this one across is Burns at the line waiting. There's a shot turned away by a bear. Behind the net, recovered by Gary. Gary walking up to the line, cutting in a semicircle. That saucer pass to Burns didn't connect. Warner going across, pinching in. Here's Gary turning, avoiding a hit. Now goes back into the blue line, tons of room walking in. Rooney, the shot was redirected just wide of the cage. Warner up to the blue line, shot in by O'Brien behind the net, waiting. Pass out in front from Gary. That one off the side of the net. Ty Warner giving a shove as Daigle finds him in the corner. Daigle, that pass tried to get up the Banfield, was intercepted by Rooney. Here's Rooney streaking it on Warner. Rooney, the shot, tried a bit of a toe drag release, was denied by Warner. Rooney still with it. Hit by Harris. Little poke check given. As working it around the cage, there was Avery, taken by Ty Warner. The little flip almost played to perfection, and here's a rush for it, but it's just going to be icing. Curvin just not able to get to that one in time. Just under 4 to go. 6-0 in favor of the Saints. 3 goals from Lefrancois so far. 3 points from Burns. Both of them have had themselves a night. To the middle, Campbell across. Levine, the backhand through the legs of a bear, but he manages to keep that one out. He got about 80% of it, and luckily in that case was enough to get it at the blue line. Big body check there as Banfield will chuck it over to Warner. Warner will shoot this one up. This one delayed icing. Paquette debates going out to play it. Working pack is Kirkpatrick. Around pressure from Banfield as he gets this one up the wall back to center. Cutting in is Harris. What a move by Harris. Getting around one and then stripped to the puck as he was double, triple teamed. And both teams know by now he's not a guy you want to leave time and space. There's a reverse hit behind the Moncton net. Webb trying to go up. Pressure from Rector. Webb hit from Campbell. And we have a penalty up incoming. And there's a hold. This looks to be a Moncton High power play. And Alex Campbell is going to see his second visit to the box. So Webb just trying to get out of the zone. Gets a little hug from Campbell from behind. Well, Moncton High power play as they get this one set up. There's a shot through traffic. That one didn't get on net. Another try as it's almost gloved down there by McPhee, as it's cleared down in the opposite end of the ice. Here's Harris cutting back in his own end. Waiting, the pressure there from Reid as he goes across for Daigle. Daigle in the middle on the red line. Will throw this one in. Here's Gillis in the corner. He gives a shove there to Burns. And this puck lifted right out in front. Gillis had tried to capture that one down, but wasn't quite able to get the shot off. Here's a bear out of his net. Lifts this one off for Ty Warner. Warner curls around in his zone, hits the brakes as he had Martin right next to him. His pass off a foot. Will be able to go back to Harris. He'll leave that backhander up. Shot back in from the blue line. Harris curling around in the left face-off circle. Comes to rest behind the net. Fakes, leaving it off for Kervin. There's Warner to get it. And that one did not fool Barrio whatsoever, as the Knights walk it back down the line. Curling around the net, still with it is Ty Warner. Going up towards the wall, hits the brakes, looks towards the net. Debates passing this one off, leaves it off for Daigle, goes to the blue line. Daigle, Harris, one touch pass. Harris still at the top of the blue line, and this one will shuffle off of his feet and go back for Harris. The saucer pass across for Daigle. Daigle waiting into the zone he goes. Cuts along the left, stops at the blue line, left off. Here's Harris working this one across, and this one will just slide outside the blue line. Not much time left on the power play, under 30 seconds to go. Here's Harris almost coming to a stop, almost took a tumble. And he will now drop this off before going to the bench, showing very upsetting body language. LeBlanc backhanded across for Daigle. Back across for LeBlanc. Shooting this one up. Power play now expired for Moncton High. And there's an icing. And you can hear very clearly here the Moncton High bench not impressed with that power play. Just couldn't get anything going their way. We've reached the last minute. 6-0 in favor of the Saints so far. McNaughton waiting, shoveling that one up against the wall. Blocked, will be cleared in. It'll find its way to the opposite corner where LeBlanc will go in, as well as Brandon Warner. Lefrancois leaving it off. Gary, the pass out in front, almost hit Burns. Burns now comes his way into the corner, throwing that one out in the slot. No one there. Walking in from the line is Simon. Back down to LeBlanc. Gary waits in the hash marks. That's taken by LeBlanc, sent up for Warner, blocked in by Simon. The Knights still struggling to get out of the zone, and this one will finally fly its way up after Daigle is able to throw that one up high along the boards. Simon in reverse. Waiting, throws it up, shot in, and this one all the way down the ice. Curling, Lefrancois waiting behind the net. Here's McNaughton into steal. McNaughton stick lifting, going to the middle, turns it over to Lefrancois, the backhander, another try, and the rebound, they score. And right as the period about to end, a second and a half, and I believe that's Maddox Burns that'll get credit for this goal to make it 7-0. Lefrancois, a couple backhanders. Burns on the back door. He lifts that one upstairs to give another marker here for the Saints. So an unfortunate period for Moncton High. We'll be back with the second period here on Moncton High Sports. It's Braden Lane from the K Arena on Family Day weekend, Sunday night here. It's grad night live on Moncton High Sports from the K Arena. Stay tuned for period 2. Make the cap there with Webb. He's hit against the board now here. Yeah, poke on five. What a stretch pass. 3-on-1 for Moncton High, led by Harris, and he's swept aside there by Legier. Harris out in front, trying to look there. Brandon Warner score! Dot banging it there was Groundwater. McEachran up the boards. Legier across. Preston steps in, winds up and fires. Pad saved by Sock as the rebound goes to the level by Drew Betts. Might have a chance. Betts walking in, could be all alone. Back to the forehand, save the rebound. They score! Try and 2 pucks sliding right through the blue paint. Preston at the blue line across. Steves lets one go. Save from Sock and a poke jump. Gillis. That's Harris rather with McFadden. Daigle moves into the pile. As well as another. There's Manners with a back with it. His pass redirected by Kervin. Stepping in, Brandon Warner. He's leveled by Preston. 14-35, there's a quick shot, then make it through. Ty Warner, his pass intercepted. Another try is bluffed down. Still looking to find a stick. Groundwater trying to go to the line. Intercepted. Gillis, his pass was fanned on. Back for Groundwater. In the middle, McEachran, the one-timer. Harris, his attempt to clear. Blocked in. Preston walks in. Saved by Sock, and the rebound still loose. We'll have an early whistle in the building tonight. Daigle being shoved right against the Purple Knights bench. Dion will shove that one in, and the game's starting to get rough here. We're going to have a purple turn over to Legier, taken by Harris. Moves up to Daigle. Daigle with speed, trying to get past a couple. Daigle still with the puck. An open ice, the shot. Wishart with the save. Cage waiting up through the middle. Groundwater now in a foot race with Harris. Groundwater walking in. They got the face-off is won and sent back to the Moncton High end. Owen Murphy. There's a Victor, the shot right there from Bro is a stop. LeBlanc, another try deflected, they score! Face-off goes to Wishart's left. Off the icing. Face-off won by Moncton High. Murray, the shot towards the net. There's Wishart heading against the boards against Avery, I should say. Here's Ty Warner breaking in. Ty Warner on his backhand. He's leveled from behind by Legier. As the Trojans potential 2-on-1 coming back. McFadden walking in. There's the shot. Gloved down by Elias Zock. That one, the Manderson got a bit of a cross-checking battle with McEachran. Back for Ty Warner along the boards. Sees Daigle on open ice. Daigle walks in with a shot. And that one turned away here. Dropping it off in the corner. There's Bro. Reverses Dion. It's turned over. Beal behind the net. No look pass out in front. There's the shot. What a save by the turn. Gets by LeBlanc. Up there for Clark. Clark stepping in on Harris with 2 on the Clark. The shot, they score! Going through the zone. Kermit somehow still with possession. Works with speed. Kermit cuts wide. Walking in, the shot on Wisher, and that one goes right off the draw. Daigle trying to force it to the net. LeBlanc steering him aside. Daigle trying to go to the blue line. Ty Warner, the shot. It's deflected by Kermit out in front. Poked off there by Ty Warner. McEachran also giving a stick check there by Daigle. And there's a one-timer right there to Nealis. On the backhand. Touched up by Betts. And it's a hook, and this might go against Ty Warner. What a stretch pass, 3-on-1 from Moncton High, led by Harris, and he's swept aside there by Legier. Harris out in front, trying to look there. Brandon Warner score! Shot banging it there was Groundwater. McEachran up the boards. Legier across. Preston steps in, winds up and fires. Pad saved by Sock as the rebound goes to the. He was leveled by Drew Betts. Might have a chance. Betts walking in, could be all alone. Back to the forehand, save the rebound. They score! Stride and 2 pucks sliding right to the blue paint. Preston at the blue line. Across. Steves lets one go. Save from Sock. And a poke shot. Gillis. That's Harris rather with the faded. Daigle moves into the pile. As well as another. There's Manners with a back with it. His pass redirected by Kermit. Stepping in, Brandon Warner. He's leveled by Preston. 14-35, there's a quick shot, didn't make it through. Ty Warner, his pass intercepted. Another try, gloved down. Still looking to find his stick. Groundwater trying to go to the line, intercepted. Gillis, his pass was fanned on, back for Groundwater. The middle, McEachran, the one-timer. Harris, his attempt to clear, locked in. Preston walks in, saved by Sock, and the rebound still loose. We'll have an early whistle in the building tonight. There's Daigle being shoved right against the Purple Knights bench. Dion will shove that one in, and the game's starting to get rough here. We're going to have a purple turn over to Legier, taken by Harris. Moves up to Daigle. Daigle with speed, trying to get past a couple. Daigle still with the puck. It open ice, the shot. Wishart with the save. Cage waiting up through the middle. Groundwater now in a foot race with Harris. Groundwater walking in. There's a shot. He's taken down, and Groundwater finds his way behind, then cuts back towards the blue line. Betts steps in the face-off circle. There's the shot, the save from Sock, and the rebound's out loose. They still jam away at it. Down, Betts out in front in the high slot. No one there. McFadden, the turnaround shot. He scores. There's Daigle working in on Legier. Legier working in, trips up Daigle. So we're going to have a Moncton High power play now. On his backhand, the shot scores. Webb, the backhander, stopped by Preston in the line. There's a quick shot off the pad. The rebound sent right back into the crease. And Parker LeBlanc. Webb finding it. His flip along the boards, caught in by Preston. Preston skates in, and that's a shot. And Sock is there to make the save. And it looks. And welcome back for second the second period of play as Moncton High recovers in their zone. Warner trying to work his way up. He had the puck stripped off of him. It's recovered back in the opposite corner. Shot in by Kirkpatrick. It's loose in the front of the net. Ty Warner again up the wall. This one will barely be blocked in as it goes back around the net. Here's Burns turning and spinning, sending this one along as they fight for it, as the Knights will finally be able to get this one out of the zone. They had an unfortunate first period, but they look to respond in a big way and make some big moves here in the second. Here's Avery going into the zone. I believe he's offside. And it does not look like the Saints are taking their foot off the gas whatsoever. As everyone is taught from a young age, you never want to take your foot off the gas. In front of the net, O'Brien will take it, and he'll go up with speed, try to chip it against the wall. Got caught up in the skates there. Murphy against the wall. This one shot and cleared behind the net of the Bear, grabbed by Harris. Harris going around the net, the little soft dish off to the wing. He'll get it back, try to go up the boards. Had pressure there from Rector, as Gillis will finally be able to get out of the zone. Up for Harris. Harris steps in with a shot. That one turned away by Paquin. Harris was crashing into the boards with Rooney. There's Curvin, hit by O'Brien. Rooney up top, held him at the line by Daigle. O'Brien with pressure on Curvin. This one flipped up and high, held along the boards. A good keep in there by Murphy, the freshman for Moncton High, as the Saints go back down with speed. They quickly turn it over, however. Here's Daigle stepping in, just offside, and shoots after the whistle. And now it was being followed closely by Campbell. And Campbell Harris collide a little bit. As we take a look at Ryan Abair back in his net. Face off in the dot, won by Moncton High. Ty Warner will try to throw right up the gut. It's intercepted by Rooney as he brings it back the other way. Here's Rooney working his way in. Cuts wide, stops in the corner. Pressure from Ty Warner around the net. Still with it here is Raid. Raid Burns side of the net. There's Webb all tangled up, and the rebound jumps out loose. In the corner, brought up, poked down by Burns, back for Raid. Here's Raid battling out in the corner. Looking, Webb trying to shove it to the middle. And that one's off of a Bear as they look for it. Big hit on Murray in the corner by Martin, as the Saints still have it in the zone. Raid looking, there's Beal giving a shove from behind as it's chipped back down into the corner. Looking around is Martin trying to throw it out in front, dropped off. Rooney waiting, Raid in there as well. Murray still shoving. Now it's taken by Martin, put to the net right in the slot. Here's Beal that steals, and he's going down along the ice. Could be a breakaway for Webb. There's a diving effort on defense by O'Brien to turn that one away. Beal giving a shove on O'Brien. Moving along the boards by Rooney. Here's Raid. Circling back. That one shoving Beal at the wall. Quick shot, and that one didn't get on net. Another try. This will bank over into the corner around O'Brien. Hit on Maltus. O'Brien and Maltus pinning each other up against the boards. Puck is not there. Still giving each other shoves around the boards. Here's Raid breaking out for the Saints. Raid working his way in. It's dumped, and then there's a D-to-D pass. Brandon Warner on defense. Coming back with it. Circling in and couldn't quite get a shot away. He got tied up. Now pins the puck up against the boards. It's him and Alexander. Working Avery in the corner. Circles up high. There's a shot by LeBlanc that misses the net. He wanted a deflection. With the center. Knights finally in some time. There's a good play by Avery to get that one and keep it in onside. Alexander moving it back for Rooney. Rooney waits, knows he has time, then circles around. Rooney still with it. Works up past the blue line, past Daigle. Rooney throwing that one out in front. It's loose, walking in. There's a shot that's blocked. Rooney in the corner with Harris. It's back there for Gary, who tries to throw that one out in front. Loose, there's a quick shot that just misses the net. Recovered by LeBlanc. This one around, there's a broken stick near the blue line. As the Knights look to be able to get this one out. Daigle has his stick lifted. They walk back in, waiting. There's a shot again that just misses the net. Some great opportunities for the Saints so far. Harris trying to go up against the boards. Gary in the corner, waits, throws it out in front. Saved by a bear, trying to get a rebound off. And still, somehow the Saints are not able to bury it, as they've kept it in the zone for plenty of time before it finally goes across back to the opposite end. Rooney stopping on Kerman, trying to go up to Alexander. He tried to go up the wall, blocked in by Warner. And Alexander gives a shove now, as Brandon Warner now getting a bit more aggressive as they fight for it in the corner. Harris emerging out, waits, fakes the stop right in the middle. The Curran scores. Grad night goal for number 16. It's Ethan Curran that gets Moncton High on the board. And they get it out of the pile. A beautiful play from Harris. He starts this one all. A great little dangle to get around Barabo. Then right out in front to Kerman, who buries it. He makes it 1-0. Shot in by Manderson. Left behind the net. Here's Webb. Down in the zone, up for Manderson. Manderson waits and fires. And that one blocked by the chest of Paquin. Here's Kerman Manderson, trying to bulldoze his way in front. Multiple shot attempts at it. Here's Webb, back door, turning, looking to the blue line. Ty Warner waits, fires. Then that one blocked and sent away. Campbell working up the left side. Will clear it in as it finds its way behind the goal of a Bear. Working there, they dig multiple players at it. Murray on defense for Moncton High. The blue line cleared back in. Webb trying to shoot this one out. Blocked in. Quick shot attempt there from Campbell. That one didn't get on net. Beal again trying to hold and get out of the zone. Murray with a little poke. There's Simon trying to hold the line. This one just sent out the blue line and iced all the way down. She'll go against Moncton High. You're right off the draw. It's taken loose, Raid in the corner. Sent down, looking out in front, and it's backhanded away by Ty Warner, who was able to get that one out of the zone as the Saints move it back. Rooney shoveling that one across at the red line. Shot in as the Knights reset in the corner. Ty Warner, a lot of pressure. He gets pinned up against the boards. And it looks like the Saints might take over or not. The Knights go back the other way. Here's Banfield stepping in. Has a bit of room, shoots one on net, and that one redirected into the corner. Along the boards from O'Brien. Raid left off McPhee, back for Raid. Raid skating up with a bit of speed, trying to wind in, and he's turned away by Murphy. He's been impressive tonight so far for Moncton High. Banfield recovering behind the net. Waits and cuts, makes a nice move, almost turns it over, and it's now trickled back behind the net in the possession of Raid. Attempt, hit given, right to the side, and that they jam at it. They look for it, and they score. And that was a good angle on that one to get a second look. It looks like it's Raid that gets the final jab at it. So now the Saints add their 8th of the game. Loose right at the goal line. There's a shot on a bear and they score. So an attempted clear, it's gloved down, and a quick shot barely squeaks by goaltender Hebert. With the Saints, they tack on 2 more quickly. As here's Simon back in his own end. Watches this one up, a perfect pass that connects with Lefrancois. Lefrancois walks in and shoots, and that one gloved by Rylan Hebert. So the last couple goals make it Lefrancois from Burns, Raid from McPhee and Martin, and Curvin from Harris. Those are the goals that started off this period. With another quick shot on Hebert that he dances around and is able to keep out. At the blue line, they bring it in. There's a shot, another good save by Hebert. Back in the Moncton High zone. Little backhand flip in by Levine in the corner. Hit by Murray. Levine again. We'll flip this one high along the boards. That one almost had gone out of play. Here's Barabo with Murray. They're tied up as this one goes back into Barabo. His shot just misses the net. Up top of the blue line, Kirkpatrick waits. We'll throw this one in deep into the zone. Another zone attempt at a clear. There's a shot saved and a bit of pressure. There's Ty Warner that goes down. And the puck wide open in the slot. So there's the shot from Alexander at the blue line. He mishandles it a little bit. It's redirected. The bear eventually falls down. Off the face-off, it was loose and tied up and then sent outside the line. The Knights back up the other way. Curvin working in. Steered aside by O'Brien behind the net. And taken along the boards. Here's Raid working his way up. He was eventually swept away as here's Harris recovering in behind his net. Now trying to find his way into the corner. LeBlanc going in on Burns. Written along the boards as the Knights will finally be able to get this one out. We have 2 Saints defense going back here. It's Rooney slapping that one along the boards. Makes a perfect pass out to neutral zone. Walking in, Raid, pass to the net, the backhander, and that one turned away by Hebert as there's a collision right up against the boards. There's the pants of Martin. We're at the midway point of this hockey game. Face-off won by Moncton High. Harris going in with Gary behind the net. They pressure, pinning into the boards. There's Lefrancois. Around, held in at the wall. Flip to the middle. Still caught in at the blue line. Gary working in. He's taken down, and that will be a penalty against Moncton High. As there he is getting up in the corner. A little wave to our camera. The Moncton High will head to the penalty kill. There's Beal just getting his stick in the skates of Gary. And the Knights just trying to do whatever need be to stop the Saints, and sometimes that does require taking a penalty. Here they have it at the line. It's Rooney. Waiting, sending it down. One-timer turned away by a Bear. That one came in with speed, and down the ice it'll go. Rooney again up at the St. Max blue line. Taken back by Burns, sending that one to the middle. It's taken out shorthanded almost by Avery as the puck's still loose in between a couple feet. It's Rooney that brings it in. We'll stop in the corner, go up top. Here's Gary, sending it back to Rooney. Rooney across. They wait at the blue line. And goes down, back up to the blue line again. They play catch with it, and Rooney will just have that one escape from him at the line. Brought back in with speed. Lefrancois around, but almost got that one. Gary again in the corner, works his way, cutting to the middle, where he is swept away and sent back to the middle. Rooney, little pass over to Burns. He'll rim this one in along the glass. The Knights still try and clear as it's not held in at the line. That one had strong force going along the boards. Paquin leaving that one out. Rooney waits, will throw this one up. A perfect tape to tape at the blue line. As there's battling right along the boards. There's a quick shot on it there. And he will be able to make the save. The Saints win another one on the power play off the face-off. Waiting at the line, Simon curls, waits, delays, and sends it across the left side. One-timer in the middle, and that one didn't go, and the Knights will bring it out with speed. It's Daigle on a breakaway. Braden Daigle all alone, shot from behind, and he goes down hard into the boards. And it's a penalty shot for Braden Daigle, short-handed. So we'll quickly see the replay of the Braden Daigle short-handed opportunity. He streaked in and was taken down. And let me tell you, if Braden Daigle scores this place is going to go nuts. So here's Braden Daigle lining up for a penalty shot. Working his way in, Braden Daigle approaches in slowly, taking time with his stride, cutting to the middle. Braden Daigle walks in, the shot, and he turned away from Paquin. Tried to go 5-hole, it didn't work. And tried to outweight the goaltender, and Paquin makes a huge save as Daigle tried to slide it through the hole. The face-off will be in the offensive zone for Moncton High. Penalties now expired. We'll now play even strength for the next little bit. 7.5 still to go in our game. 9-1 lead in favor of St. Max. Working in the corner, now goes back up to the blue line. Shot and cleared in. Ty Warner goes after it, leaves it behind him. Pressure from Rector. Sent out in front to the line. Simon with the cross for Burns to the middle. Working in. Simon the shot, and that one just missed the net. To the blue line. There's a pass and some open ice, and that one was for no one. Will be cleared back, and it's not an icing against Moncton High. It looked like it had been delayed icing momentarily. Here's Webb working into the zone. He's hit by Levine. Webb still with it, out in front, trying to get that to Curvin. That one in between his legs. Gillis steals over to Webb. Webb skates in, the pass out in front and almost on the tape of Curvin had just hopped over. Reid will throw that one out. It's redirected by Levine and into the zone. Trying to find it in the corner now behind the net. They rim it up along the boards. Here's Manderson. In for Moncton High. Ethan Manderson leads the rush. The toe drag release that's just sent wide. And he has a shot behind him. That one just missed the net. Anderson into the zone. Works in, stops, and curls still with possession. Waits, tries to go up to the line. Still has it. Had his stick lifted multiple times. Manderson again with the turnaround little backhand and didn't get it on net. Here's Webb being pressured by two Saints. One of them being Kirkpatrick getting the better of him. There's a shot into some shin pads. Flipped high and out of the zone. Bouncing puck, Kirkpatrick on it. Kirkpatrick into the zone, waiting. He's taken down, and the Saints had wanted a penalty on that. They didn't get it. Moncton High back with a little flip. Manderson trying to cut in on a breakaway. He's taken down, and that one not a call. The Purple Knights wanted a penalty on that one, but also didn't get it. Here's Harris walking out of the neutral zone. Curling around, still with it on his backhand. Working around the cage now as he escapes from McPhee. Harris still with it. He's gone coast to coast. Gamble Harris works his way in. Little pass out in front. That one off the pad of Paquin. And Schottel on the board. So this one takes a weird hop, so it does get out of the zone. Working out neutral ice. Harris again battling for it. This one's flipped high and in by Murphy to be covered behind the net here of Paquin. Alexander hounded there by McNaughton, the Thunderbird. It's dropped off. McNaughton in the corner, tried a little toe drag. It's Lefrancois with speed to regather that one. The flip, stopped at the line. Ty Warner working his way in, put to the net. That one's scooped into the corner by Paquin. McNaughton hit by Alexander. Another bump given as McNaughton pressures Lefrancois. Here's Murray at the line. Will shoot this one in. McNaughton into the zone. He hits Kirkpatrick. Kirkpatrick hits him. Avery steals it out of the pile, works his way behind it at the wraparound, and he's denied by the pad of Paquin. He was there in time, and the Max will ice this one in desperation. So a huge shift there for Moncton High. That line of Avery, McNaughton, and Webb doing some power. They now send their first line on. Face-off is won by the Max. Alexander going D to D. There's a pass in the middle, intercepted by Ty Warner. He's then taken off by Gary. Gary working his way in, trying to cut to the net. Out in the middle off a skate, and now it's sent into the boards. Ty Warner getting the errant pass, having to shove away Burns. It's right there, another shove given as Warner now gets tied up. Here's Daigle. In with Lefrancois right against the boards, up and close and personal. There's Lefrancois, gets it around, tried to throw it out in front, and the Knights almost able to escape. Working in, there's a shot towards the goal. That one didn't make it, and outside the zone, the Max will go. They're just 3.5 minutes to go in our period two. Quick shot there by Burns. Murray in the corner. He gets collided with and gives shoves. Nothing coming out of that. Ty Warner in the corner, out in front. There's the shot, pad saved by Hebert, and that one almost got in. Here's Daigle bringing this one out with speed. Braden Daigle working his way out. He's almost hit by two, but still handles possession. Daigle works his way in. And it's offside. May have been affected by some Knights making changes. Max off the draw. Simon sends one right up the middle, almost threaded the needle. And walking in is Manderson. Manderson, some nice moves on Simon. Manderson cuts in the corner, waits, tries to get a backhand off. It stopped there. Brandon Warner going up for a hit. LeBlanc will find it in the middle. Rebounded off the boards. It's taken in the middle. Harris Regathered back by Avery. Avery, who tried to enter the zone, was turned away by defenseman Wills. Recovered behind the net by Simon. Here's Jackson Avery coming with pressure. He'll turn away and he'll drop that one to Wills. Wills up the wall. There's a nice outlet pass in the middle for Levine. Levine cutting in, working on the left side. The toe drag right to the middle. And the Moncton High defender able to turn him away. There's a shot, and that one off the glass. Saint will hold in at the line. Trying to cut to the middle. It's the Knights that recover. A steal there from Banfield as he shovels this one in. Off the board, Simon up for Campbell. Campbell stepping up the right wing. Poke check by Banfield. And then Banfield goes down right up against the boards. Here's side of the net. Here's a chance that just goes wide. Webb in the corner. He's hit big, and that one's going to be a call against the Max. And here we go, right in the corner. And everyone really not happy. And it's Banfield getting a talking to from the official. Banfield's going to the box, as well as McPhee, I believe that is. So the Max have the original penalty right there on Webb. That's the original one, and Banfield goes in after. Gives a little face wash. Here's a Bear playing a little catch with the goaltender. Goes across to Paquin. Paquin fires down the ice, going all the way down. Here's a Bear. Going to capture. Goes right up to his crease. And launches that one all the way down past center, past Warner. Back on to Paquin. Paquin out past the hash marks. Will launch this one all the way down for a Bear. Slowly onto a Bear. Waits, takes his time before sending that one down a bit to his right. Going out to the corner, stopping is Paquin. Will launch that one down. That one almost in between the feet of a Bear. He now goes to his backhand, shovels that one extremely high. So as we sort out these penalties, goalies still having fun here. Minute and a half to go in period two. There's a Bear launching that one all the way down, back to the right corner. Paquin picking this one up. So it slides under him. And while we have a break, we'll have an Olympic update. So along today, the last day before the qualification round, before the quarterfinals. Starts off early this morning. The Swiss take a 4-3 victory over Czechia in overtime. Canada destroys France 10-2. Denmark takes down Latvia 4-2. USA over Germany 5-1. And your matchups to qualify for the quarterfinals: Denmark, Czechia, France, Germany, Italy, Switzerland, and Latvia, Sweden. Winners of each of those games will head to the quarterfinals, and the extra two will go to the Max. So Knights are on the power play here. Harris tried to get that to Daigle. It's Mern that will look and fire that one down the opposite end of the ice. Got by a Bear. Picking up is Harris. Harris waits. He'll send that one out. Harris working up the right wing, cutting in. Poke check by Kirkpatrick. Up for Curvin. Up to the line. Ty Warner down for Curvin. Curvin waits, goes across for Daigle, and that one just slid under his stick. Daigle to the line. Warner across for Harris. Harris steps in, waits, fires, pad save. The rebound goes off a skate of a Saint and goes slowly towards the net. Daigle, Warner, Harris across. Harris the shot and just goes over the net. Rebound. Daigle trying to go after it. It's swatted away by Alexander. Another try that just misses wide. Here's Harris up at the blue line. Waits to the net. Curvin loads up and shoots, and another good stick save. Here's Daigle to the line. A penalty coming to the Saints. Waiting one-timer that just misses. And this one outside the line. Warner going to have to go all the way down. The referee still with his arm up. So this might end the period. And it looks like they'll be able to touch up here as it goes behind the net. With 3.4 left in the period, Moncton High is going to go to a 5-on-3 for 35 seconds. There's the first initial chance, and look right out in front of the net. Bit of head contact there. This will most likely be the last face-off of the period. And only 2 minutes for head contact on that one, won by the Saints. Daigle back out in front, there's the shot. Harris at the line. McNaughton tried to move that out in front. And what a shot that almost was. Harris from the line, a quick shot. And we'll be back for the third period here on Moncton High Sports. Braden Elaine from the K Arena in Louisville. Now need to recouping. Make a nice windmill deep, getting around Daigle, and now he picks off his pass. Daigle, it's Kervin, excuse me, the shot is the, who's that going up with speed? Gillis, in there's with Beal Gillis, the shot right on net, what a save by Liam. The board's only one there is Owen Shudiak. Shudiak, the pressure from Beal, up to LeBlanc, LeBlanc, the blue line, the shot, running off the post, that one. Captain Campbell regathering in the corner. Tried to move that one over D to D for Ty Warner, intercept at the blue line. LeBlanc, the stop, Betts right out in front. What a move! How did that one knock? Face off is one and sent back to the Moncton high end. Owen Murphy, grade 9, drops it off. It's intercepted, the shot right there. Saved by there with Webb. There's a Victor, the shot right there from Bro is a stop. LeBlanc, another try deflected, they score! Face off goes to Wishart's left. Off the icing. Off one by Moncton. Murray, the shot towards the net. There's Wishart hitting the boards against Avery, I should say. Here's Ty Warner breaking in. Ty Warner on his backhand. He's leveled from behind by Legit. As the Trojan potential 2-on-1 coming back. McFadden walking in. There's the shot. Gloved down by Elias Sock. That one, the Manderson got a bit of a cross-shaking battle with McEachern. Back for Ty Warner along the boards. Sees Daigle on open ice. Daigle walks in with a shot. And that one turned away here. Dropping it off in the corner. There's Bro. Reverses Dion. It's turned over. Beal behind the net. Nola pass out in front. There's the shot. What a save by yeah, the turn. Gets by LeBlanc. Up there for Clark. Clark stepping in on Harris with 2 on the Clark. The shot. They score. Going through the zone. Kervin somehow still with possession. Works with speed. Kervin cuts wide. Walking in. The shot on Wishart. And that one goes right off the draw. Daigle trying to force it to the net. LeBlanc steering him aside. Daigle trying to go to the blue line. Ty Warner, the shot. It's deflected by Kervin out in front. Poked off there by Ty Warner. McEachern also given a stick check there by Daigle. And there's a one-timer right there to Nealis. On the backhand. Touched up by Betts. And it's a hook, and this might go against Ty Warner. What a stretch pass, 3-on-1 from Moncton Highland by Harris, and he's swept aside there by Legier. Harris out in front, trying to look there. Brandon Warner score! Not banging it there was Groundwater. McEachern up the boards. Legier across. Preston steps in, winds up and fires. Pad save by Sock as the rebound goes to level by Drew Betts. Might have a chance. Betts walking in, could be all alone. Back to the forehand, save the rebound. They score! Try, and 2 pucks sliding right to the blue paint. Preston at the blue line. Across, Steves lets one go. Save from Sock, and a poke to Gillis. That's Harris rather with McFadden. Daigle moves into the pile. As well as another, there's Manners with a back with it. His pass redirected by Kervin. Stepping in, Brandon Warner. He's leveled by Preston. 14-35, there's a quick shot. Didn't make it through. Ty Warner, his pass intercepted. Another try is gloved down. Still looking to find his stick. Groundwater trying to go to the line. Intercepted. Gillis, his pass was fanned on. Back for Groundwater. In the middle, McEachern, the one-timer. Harris, his attempt to clear, locked in, Preston walks in, save by Sock, and the rebound still loose. We'll have an early whistle in the building tonight. Here's Daigle being shoved right against the Purple Knights bench. Dion will shove that one in, and the game's starting to get rough here. We're going to have a purple turn over to Legier, taken by Harris. Moves up to Daigle. Daigle with speed, trying to get past a couple. Daigle still with the puck, it open ice, the shot. Wishart with the save. Cage waiting. Up through the middle, Groundwater now in a foot race with Harris. Groundwater walking in. There's a shot, he's taken down, and Groundwater finds his way behind the cuts back towards the blue line. Betts steps in the face-off circle. There's the shot, the save from Sock, and the rebound's out loose. They still jam away at it. Down, Betts out in front in the high slot, no one there. McFadden, the turnaround shot, he scores! There's Daigle working in the Legier. Legier working in, trips up Daigle, so we're going to have a Moncton high power play now. On his backhand, the shot scores! Webb, the backhander, stopped by Preston in the line. There's a quick shot off the pad, the rebounds, and right back into the crease. And Marker LeBlanc. Webb finding it. His flip along the boards, caught in by Preston. Preston skates in, and that's a shot. And Sock is there to make the save, and it looks like we have a pen. It's left to go in the period. Trojans now in the power play. To the line, Steves plays it down. Betts on the left side, put to the net. They jam at it right next to Sock. It's Carson LeBlanc. Ty Warner sending him into the boards. Taken up by Nealis. There's the shot back for Nealis. The backhander, they score! Ty Warner bringing it in, moving it across. Gillis, the shot just above the net. Her redirects off of Wishart, and somehow Preston shooting this one far side. Murn, one touch to the middle. Here's McFadden getting past LeBlanc. McFadden into the net. There's the shot, the save from Elias. Harris has Kervin and Gillis with him in the zone. Harris walking in on Steves, cutting in and taken down, and Harris slams down Steves in the stops. Cuts by Dion to the middle. Sagadev would have moved the shot. There's a save and his own rebound. Murphy across for Harris. Harris stepping into the zone. He's going to let one go on Wishart, where there's a save. Sent to the middle. Preston along for Hinckley. The first goal for Harrison Trimble, going to put one on net, and that one gloved down with ease. Harris goes along the near boards, gets around groundwater, and McEachran then was held, so we're going to have a penalty. Murray, the shot, he scores! Center. Jackson Steves leads the rush for the Trojans. He steps in, there's the shot, glove down by Sock. That's Brandon Warner on the Moncton High bench, really liking the physicality from Murphy. Here's Harris cutting in, the shot on Wishart, and he makes the save. What a move to get in, and he was double teamed. The rebound, there's Shudiak, and he scores. Bit of dangles as it now goes to the net. There's a quick save, the rebound from Webb, and his backhander is also saved by Alim Sagadev, working his way in. Keeps cutting along the left. There's the shot on Sock, and he will deny it. Cuts around, waits and shoots, and Sock again is there to make the save. Trojans still find possession. It's Clark throwing it across. Whalen steps in with a shot. Another save. Sagadev working his way in. Behind the net, throwing that one out in front. Shudiak turns and fires and scores. Hopping to the middle. Manderson trying to move that one out in front. That one in between the legs of Preston. Kervin holding possession out in the middle. The shot saved by Wishart. Welcome back in for period 3 here on Moncton High Sports. Moncton High starts this period with a 31-second 5-on-3. And then they will go to a minute and 25 of a 5-on-4. Hopefully the Knights have gotten themselves refreshed. They have a long hill to climb. And that's an understatement. But they do start this period on a 5-on-3. There's a quick shot. It goes above the net. Hopped on top of it there for a second. And it's rimmed out and will go all the way back to the Moncton High end. Ty Warner dropping this one off for Harris. Harris right in the neutral zone. Goes along the right side. Goes in slowly. Stops. Chucks it across to Avery walking in. Loose puck right in the slot. Avery cutting around. Dropping it off, Ty Warner, now with just a 5-on-4. Here's Harris, has room, there's the shot, turned away by Paquin. The first big chance for Moncton High. Now just over a minute left on the Moncton High power play as they try any method to get back into this one. It's turned over, walking in shorthanded. Here's Burns, sharp angle to the middle, and couldn't quite pull the trigger there from Lefrancois. Harrison behind the net, waiting out for Warner. Ty Warner skating up. We'll get to the red line before chucking this one into the zone. It's found in the corner. They work it back. Simon redirects it at the line, and that pass is intercepted. It bounces up in the middle. Here's Curvin working down past the blue line. Curvin into the zone, goes up for Daigle, and that pass is picked off, and the Saints come back the other way. Not much time left to go in the power play. They walk in there just offside. Face off outside the Moncton High end. It'll be right next to the bench. Tied up in the middle. Curvin lifts the stick, then gets possession. Here's Curvin stepping in. Ethan Curvin winding his way into the corner, protects the puck going behind the net. Curvin out in front. Gillis, that one in the air. They jam at it off the pad of Paquin, and that one somehow stays out of the net. Again, somehow the Knights do not end up capitalizing. As here's Levine hitting the brakes. Levine up to the blue line, waiting, and sent down in around the net. Here's Raid. Raid battling with LeBlanc in there as well as Levine. Murray, this one sent around, blocked in by O'Brien. And out to the neutral zone it'll go, where it's taken there by Kirkpatrick. Kirkpatrick into the zone. Hebert goes around to stop it. Working in at the hash marks. There's a quick shot on Hebert. This one flies up and will find its way into the corner. There's Kirkpatrick that falls. That one definitely gone up into the netting, so we'll have a whistle. The face-off will go back into the zone of the Purple Knights. Here's Avery that wins the draw. Murphy tried to get that one up, blocked by Burns. This one at the line. I believe they're going to whistle that one down for a hand pass. Although that would have been a potential rush for Moncton High. Just outside the face-off, or the blue line, excuse me. Warner and Burns still lifting each other's sticks. Murphy trying to go around the boards, blocked by Burns, behind the net. Waiting out, it's Gary. Looking out towards the slot, Gary drops it off, Lefrancois out in front, there's the shot, and turned away by Hébert. And that one a close chance for the Saints. Here in the draw, Harris tried to escape. There's Murphy lifting it up, trying to clear. This one's blocked in at the line. Gary waits and fires, and Hébert is able to turn that one aside. Burns going behind Lefrancois. In between his feet, it now goes for Harris. Harris flips. Tried to get that one to McNaughton. McNaughton moving into the zone. It's in at the blue line. They fight for it, and then Avery accidentally falls on top of Gary, where it's now recovered behind the net of the St. Max. Wills along to his other defense. This one fired along the boards to be caught in at the opposite point. Working in, Warner unable to get to that one. Lefrancois on a breakaway, going to his forehand, and he missed as he went falling down. Hébert sprawling on the ground. Harris moves into the blue line, walks in, waits, couldn't quite pull the trigger as he is sent into the corner. Harris to the middle, that one redirected. Here's McNaughton skating up, button hooking down into the zone, trying to go down for Webb. Webb pushed up against the boards. It's Beal going to the blue line, then back down around. Work to the opposite side where no one sits, and it's Campbell. (15-17), face-off will go back into the Moncton High offensive zone. Anderson goes to chase, applying pressure. He gets it from Wills in the corner. Looking Manderson trying to toe drag as this one's along the wall. They still fight for it just short of the blue line. This one squirts free to the middle, and now is taken out at center. Working in is Beal. Clearing this one in as it's regathered in the corner, up against the wall, and back down across to the opposite end of the ice. Beal back with it from Moncton High, trying to swerve and around the net. Ty Warner working up. Will flip this one up into center, taken by Manderson, or excuse me, that's Webb who works his way in and couldn't quite get the pass in the middle. Webb in behind the net. They still look for it as the Max go back the other way with speed, walking up. Rector to the middle, and Hébert sweeps that one away to the side of the net, a sharp angle, and that one was blocked before it could get on net. At the blue line, quick shot blocked by Murray. That one definitely looked to have stung a little bit. Webb will find it near the red line, shoot this one in as it's right next to Paquin. Recovered behind the net there by Rooney. Out to the neutral zone, less than 14 to go. Walking in, there's Harris. Harris through the zone, along the blue line, and he was turned away. Walking in, quick shot from McPhee, blocked by Murphy. McPhee working down in the zone. Harris and Reed. Looking around, Daigle stops, hits the brakes, then turns and curls, going the opposite way. This one flung up, will hit the boards. Daigle around in the corner. Looking for it as the Knights almost had possession there. It's still around the net. Rooney stopping, looking for his options. Rooney still with it. Chased there by Curvin. Rooney works his way up past the blue line. Rooney walks in, he'll let one go, and that one's off the blocker of the Bears. It slides almost right in front of his crease. Harris in the corner. They move closer too as he stops and turns and will play it along the far boards. Taken by Kirkpatrick. Backhanded in. This one rims up along the boards. Harris again. Waits, deflected by Curvin. Rooney at the red line. Backhanded in, falling there's LeBlanc. In the save him is Harris, but he only gets it to the line. Kirkpatrick stopping, cutting to the middle. His shot is redirected down and just misses the net. And there's a huge hit from Harris, and he gets attacked by Raid. He laid into Kirkpatrick out in front, high slot. The shot is just over the net. The rebound's loose, and there's LeBlanc being taken down. And let's take another look at that absolutely massive hit by Campbell Harris onto Kirkpatrick. He lays into him. And then it was Raid that initially went after him. Brandon Warner leaving that one up for McNaughton. Demon McNaughton skating in. He finds it in the corner. Hit there by Alexander as this one shot back around the boards. Working up, stopped at the line. Ty Warner, the shot is in the corner. Redirects up for Alexander. Alexander, he's unable to clear. Walking the line, it's Avery. The little backhander goes behind the net. Brandon Warner after it with Alexander. Still with it, Avery trying a little dangle, but it's taken away as the Max storm back the opposite direction. Working up, Burns, pass up, Rooney, the shot just missed. Burns will gather his rebound, stop, almost get hit there from Avery. The official in the way of Murray. It's over to Lefrancois, trying to pass someone out in front, and that one took a weird hop, so it's out of the zone. Simon, D-to-D, working in. It'll be dumped into the Moncton High corner. Murray hits Burns. Murray will zip this one across for Warner. Redirected off a couple sticks. Here's Webb walking in, and he couldn't quite get the shot off. He's now in the corner with Simon. McNaughton trying to look after it. It's Gary that pokes it up the wall. Here come the Saints back the other way. Cutting to the middle with speed. It's Rector making a nice little move. He's shoved to the corner by Harris. Harris giving him a little whack as it's Manderson now. Intensity clearly ramping up here at the K Arena. As we come down the last half, the turnaround shot, they score. And the Saints thought the Knights thought the Saints had exited the zone. There's a quick turnaround shot that ends up in the back of the net. To make it Brennan Martin with the goal. The assist is going to go to Barrio. So the Saints now get to double digits. Barrio dropped it off and offside, although they did not think. Face-off won by the Purple Knights. It's Manderson skating into the zone. Trying to get around Wills. He was unable to. Liam Wills recovers for the Saints. Working up the blue line. Accelerating through center. Wills end to end. Tries to flip around Harris. And that one swept away by the paddle of a bear. Stopped then at the line. Simon backs up before throwing it along the board. Stopped by Harris. Simon walking the line before entering the zone. Had to be wary of the offside. Dumped into the zone now. Martin pressuring Harris around the boards. Stopped by Beal. His pass now turned over at the line. Here's Simon. Waits to the net, and that one just missed wide. Rooney will recover. The little backhand stopped by Beal, but barely held in at the line. And that just for now, as Harris now finds some open ice, and he'll turn on the Jets and work his way up. Harris protecting the puck as he enters the zone. He's held. So we're going to have a Moncton High penalty. Working the shot, and there's a great pad save by Paquin. As we have a hold against the Saints. as Campbell Harris turned on the Jets. He was held going into the zone. I believe this is Cash O'Brien or Brennan Martin that's going to get the penalty. Knights to the power play, waiting at the blue line. Warner stops, puts one down into the corner behind the net. There's Rooney and Gillis. Rooney will backhand that one high and outside the zone. Going all the way back to the Knights' end. Ty Warner trying to turn on the Jets. He stopped by Campbell before laying him into the boards. Harris trying to clear. He's stopped. And the Saints will just throw it back to their own end, delaying just a bit more time. Here's Daigle recovering for the Knights, trying to go to the middle. He got caught up with Raid. Puck is free, and he moves that one on to Ty Warner. Up for Gillis. Gillis across. Harris walks his way in, turns around, then looks to the middle. Knights try to start it up in the offensive zone. Gillis waits and shoots, and that one goes over the net. Your quick shot off the draw and a turn away save from Paquin. I believe that one gone off his blocker, and it's shot back to the Moncton high end. Walking in short-handed. Never mind, it'll be called a high stick. Levine had been streaking in short-handed, however. Harris back with it in his own end. Along the red line up for Manderson. Manderson waits, goes up to Harris. Harris will throw that one rink wide to get over to McNaughton. McNaughton skating into the zone, just 15 seconds left to go on the power play. McNaughton drops off. Here's Manderson winding in the backhander out in front, and a quick shot there from Brandon Warner. That one had just missed wide as the power play time about to expire for Moncton High. And again, they will go unsuccessful, but Harris winds his way in around the net, trying to tuck it, and that one didn't go. As more players crashing and banging along the boards, and the Saints will escape here. Working in, stopped in by Manderson. Manderson coming back the other way, right up the gut with speed. Dangles to his left, coming back to his right. Manderson couldn't quite get the shot off. Would have been a highlight reel goal if so. Saints work their way in, cross ice pass, deflected away by McNaughton. Right in front, it's poked loose. LeBlanc up for Daigle, sent across onto the near boards over from McNaughton. He had let go of it in the offensive zone, may have thought it was the delayed icing. Here's Daigle entering the zone, and that one is offside.
High school playoff hockey starts tomorrow, and Purple Knights are game one. They'll take on Riverview Vegetable Royals in Riverview. Puck drop is set for 8:15. Ryan Dawson Reno, we hope to see it here next Sunday. Game two, the Purple Knights will be back at our home rink for the
And getting the announcement from Craig Mellon in the box. Playoffs start, and they start tomorrow. Moncton High and Riverview High in a best of 3. It starts tomorrow night at the Byron Dobson. Murray shoved off by Rector. Barrybow turning around in the corner. Shoved and pinned by Murray as Daigle was in there as well. Less than 6 to go here in our third period. The Saints work their way up the left side. Walking in, Rector, the shot just missed wide. This one will go back out towards the Max bench. And working up, that was almost a beautiful reception of the pass there from Barrio. Cleared in, Murphy going around the boards. Curvin sent to the middle. Daigle trying to cut, and he was read perfectly by Levine. The Knights still able to get this in. Warner with the shot, and that one just missed wide of the left post. Max back the other way. Hitting the brakes there's Martin. Martin, Levine, shoved by Brandon Warner. Murphy in there as well. Here's Owen Murphy. Going around. Will clear along the boards. Stopped at the line. The shot, it's deflected. That went off the side of the net. So another close call. Levine going into the boards at Brandon Warner. They both pin each other up until the puck comes free. And a pass on the line, barely recepted. There's a shot from far from Wills that had gone off the high glass. Ty Warner in behind the net. This one poked out. It was right along the red line. Max try and hold. Brandon Warner pinned up against the boards. This one will be shot and almost hit some players on the Moncton High bench. Delayed icing, although it will just not get there. Here's Simon in around the cage. Will look up high and send that one. That's redirected by Raiden into the zone. Harris going behind the net. Waiting. Cutting up against the boards. Stopped it at the line. Here's Lefrancois. Looks out in front with a nice pass. There's the shot from Burns. And it's turned away by a Bear. Now walking in, a nice little toe drag. And Harris not a fan of that. He takes that one away and sends it across for Avery. Jackson Avery moving in. Lets one go. And Paquin is able to make the save. Face-off will go over to Paquin's left, where it's moved out here by the Max, so a quick icing, and they'll be forced to come back. There's Wills getting ready for the next face-off. At the line, Harris, the shot from far. That one redirected. Was at the goal line. They look for it. Manderson was waiting out in the slot, but no opportunity to get that one. And the Max will get this one out to center. Sent across, working his way in is Burns. Burns in the near boards in the corner, shuffling up to the line. Redirected back now for Simon. Simon across to the goal line for Lefrancois. Lefrancois going around the net, and he's post-checked there by Harris as he steals the puck. Potential 2-on-1 led by Webb. He has Manderson with him. Webb working in, waits and shoots, and off the pad of Paquin. Manderson trying to find this one. Webb the backhander. It's loose in between the pads of Paquin, but he's able to hold on. A 2-on-1 started for Moncton High. It's Julian Webb that leads it. Took his opportunity to fire one, and he did. It's off the pad of Paquin and steered aside. Face-off is when it climbs slowly towards the line, and outside the line it'll go. Just 2.5 still remaining. Here's a drop pass, flipped over a stick. Webb looking after it. He'll find it at the blue line. Webb working his way up, tied up with Rooney. O'Brien cutting up and around. Here's O'Brien. Poked down, it's Beal back on defense. His shot blocked by the linesman. Max bring it back in, waiting at the goal line and steering aside now is Campbell. Going up. That pass redirected. Here's Manderson that leads the rush for Moncton High. We'll get that one over for Ty Warner. Ty Warner trying to skate in. Drop pass from Anderson. Over for Ty Warner. This one shuffling at the side of the net before Warner now goes to Chase O'Brien and lays a huge hit out in the corner. Moncton High bringing the physicality so far. Huge hits from Harris and Warner. As Campbell at the side of the net, right out in front, and it's banked just wide by McPhee. McPhee goes to hit Murphy, and now it's sent outside the zone. Working back, there's Rooney, a one-touch pass for Campbell. Campbell sidestepping to the middle. Waits, gets around LeBlanc, drops it at the ringette line. Slash given from Brandon Warner on Rooney. As Brandon Warner and Rooney getting into it, and Warner sends his man down, and he's going to get a call for it. Ty Warner touches up. And it's going to be head contact against Brandon Warner. But it was him and Ben Rooney in a heated shoving match. As you'll start to see it develop right in the center of your screen. There's the initial shove. And Warner gives one up high. So Saints to the power play for what could be the remainder of the game if, of course, they don't score. Here's Kirkpatrick waiting, delays at the ringette line, goes up high. Wait again at the blue line. They wait in the corner. There's a shot from far. It's redirected up above the net. Harris. Throw this one along the board, stopped in by Alexander. Alexander. Move down, back up to Alexander. We'll shuffle that one across Levine. Alexander winds up for a 1T, and it was blocked, but almost redirected in by Martin. Levine, Alexander. Back for Levine. Levine waiting for Alexander. He'll try another one-timer. Didn't get much of that one. It's taken away by Daigle, and he'll skate it. Now in a foot race, Paquin out of the net to get to that one. And risky playing from Paquin. Here's Kirkpatrick back the other way. Burns going to the net. It's a bear that'll stick that one into the corner. Backhanded to the line. Kirkpatrick, a shot from far, safe from a bear. The rebound, they score. And it was so Owen Gary will get the max. A 10-goal advantage, and that will end the game here in Moncton High Sports. We thank you for watching, and we hope you join us for the playoffs. As this could have very well been the last regular season game here on Moncton High Sports. Bringing the lane from the K. Your final score, Saints 11 and Purple Knights 1. And we thank you for the continued encouragement and support we've received throughout the 3 years. And I invite our producer here, Ethan Nelson.
Okay, well, sorry for that, but yeah, well, what if, I think, let me turn down one of the mics here, but what if for 3 years we have had streaming from Moncton High? It was, honestly, from us, it's been an awesome learning opportunity. And seeing like a lot of the players develop over the years, and even our own friends on the team, it's been an awesome experience seeing them develop as players and develop as human beings as well. So it's awesome. We grew a lot. After our first year, we did our first out of school client, which was the U15B provincials.
Yes.
And from that point on, we were able to grow. And so we want to thank everyone, whether it's on Moncton Sports or on Maritime Stream Team. Thank you for your support. We have learned so much along the way, and we couldn't do it without you guys, and we appreciate all the support, like Braden said. And so, I mean, if there's anything else that Braden you want to add, but from me, I just, again, thank you guys for support. It's been there's been ups and downs in our moments. That's really poorly said, but I mean, we've had our ups and downs, but always in the end, it's been incredible. Thank you to all the players. Thank you to Moncton High School for all the support across all the teams we have done. Thank you to all the leagues for supporting us. The associations like Louisville Minor Hockey Association, thank you so much. I just want a big shout out to our original crew very quickly. We got Colin Doucette, who was our original camera operator. Braden since the beginning. He's been commentating all of our games. I still don't know how he does it, but he does an amazing job.
Still somehow have a voice, but
Liam Sadler, he's been there for forever, and he's done a phenomenal job. Same thing for Diego Aragon. He's an awesome dude, and I'm glad to be been able to meet him and for him to try commentating with us and doing occasional camera work. But from that, I just appreciate everything we have done and everyone we have worked with. So if there's anything else you want to add, Braden, but...
Well, first of all, you nailed it on the head there. Beautiful. But second of all, we're not fully done yet.
Nope. 2
more guaranteed games. The emotional stuff comes later. Tomorrow night, Byron Dobson. And Sunday night, back here at the K, 8:15 next Sunday, games 1 and 2. And we invite you to come watch here on Moncton High Sports. But other than that, Braden Lane signing off from the K.
And same for me. Ethan Nelson signing out. Our last regular season game. So everyone, have a good night, and thank you so much for watching.